Return that shit for NFP.
Wait, I can. Do you want me to? I mean, it should be good. I can do it. It's fine.
Let's try and see because we let's
Yeah.
try and see if it works fine next week. We can do the same in heavy news.
Give me 1 second. Mm, Let me do that real quick. This time. No, it should be good and it should be like almost instant. We'll see. Let me turn on my phone so that I can observe it.
Last time I tried to observe it, I mistakenly get into a trade
Oh,
over
you can
there.
hear me, right?
Yeah, perfect. It's clear.
Audrey?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I don't know if I'm muted. Wait. Let me know if you can still hear me because I don't think I can
I
hear
can
you.
hear you. I'm here too. I can hear you perfectly.
Um, or maybe you're the one who's muted.
I wasn't mute. I can hear you perfectly.
28. And then I turn that on. Hmm. Oh, I think I know why. The speakers, I was choosing the wrong thing. All right. All right. Good morning, guys. Today is Friday, November 3rd, and we are about to do NFP live trading. Um, so here we have about 50 seconds before this starts. And it'd be good in this one. See, I still need to work on my speaker thing. Anyway, so there are some levels I sent for gold and US30. So for me, I'm looking for the drop first on US30 or on gold. So you can see here, I have an alert set for US30 daily momentum buy. This thing is not, anyway, I'll use another speaker for now. All right, and there goes the pump. So that's exactly what I want. I want the pump to happen. And then afterwards, I want the reversal. Oh, Audrey, I told you that thing we just hit TP, and I just stopped it right now. So we just finished phase one on that. Yep, phase one is done for that account. Uh, let's see what happened with gold. So this is fine. Gold is breaking through everything. So in any case, I would want to catch a continuation. So the reversal normally happens sometime. Let me try and fix this audio. But right now, if I was doing anything, I would be buying because the reversal happens around 9 a.m. try and forget this device. Bluetooth devices. Connect. Perfect. Should be connected to this one. Speaker 7. All right. So I think right now I should be able to hear you guys if you're talking. So nothing on US 30, nothing on gold. So again, following the daily bias, US 30 bullish, gold bullish still, EU bullish, and it's about to confirm another bullish daily bias. So I was hoping for the drop to come down and tap all of this buy momentum, but nothing really. So right now it's just a matter of waiting for that reversal. So reversal, it should happen before New York. So I'm guessing 9 a.m. So unless we get a entry, even with the momentum, there's nothing here. Yeah, nothing. Give me 1 second. Audrey, I just got the phase 2 for that account, so I'll go ahead and try and set that up. I don't know if I'll have enough time, but I can set it up for market open later.
Yeah, the market open at 9:30, so you have plenty of time.
Yeah. I told you that volatility helps so good. But right now, looking at where reversal might happen. So right now I'd want to go to the momentum indicator and see if we have any. Okay. So this, I don't like, none of these are valid momentum, but it's also good to just notice them. Again, this is on the daily, but I would have wanted to see, yeah. But if we're expecting a reversal before New York, the question is, unfortunately, here on the daily time frame, there really isn't valid sell on the daily. I don't want to take off too many rules here. Also on the 4 hour, we don't have any valid sell. Up there. 33,089. A second. Moving average filter. This cell right here, if we extend this SAR, yes, that's a rejection. So yes, what is this? 33,000. So 33,024. Add an alert. Daily sell momentum for US 30. So I would want US 30 to get to 33,089. Because that's when the last valid sell momentum on the 4 hour time frame was. On the 1 hour time frame, but keep in mind, I'm looking for sell, but during New York Open, I would be looking for buys. So I'm just using the statistics that NFP normally reverses before New York and goes back in that direction, in the direction that it started at. Here on the hourly timeframes, we don't really have anything. Okay, so for US 30 on the 4 hour time frame, that's the only zone. Let's see for gold. Gold. Nothing on the hourly time frame. There are no rejections on the 4 hour time frame. No valid sells from previous zones on the daily time frame. Daily time frame, nothing as well. So it's only US 30 that has a potential valid retracement. And in all honesty, I would rather take US 30's retracement. So you can see I've set the alert all the way up there. So I need for price to get there. And then I would be looking for a reverse momentum, probably on the 5-minute. I don't want to take a 1-minute momentum because at this point they might wick out. They might stop hunt. So if you're doing like a 50 pip stop loss here, and you enter on the 1-minute. So for this one, in my own experience, I would rather take it on the 5-minute time frame. So I would rather go to the 5-minute time frame and get a rejection signal, but I need price to get here, and that's the selling area for US 30. Meantime, let me try and set up this other account. Audrey, if you want, you can get your account today and I can work on it next week. Hmm?
Average.
Yeah. Man. All right. Also, what was that sell area? Actually, on gold, never mind. We did have a sell area at 2006, if I remember correctly, on the daily. Yes, this no, there was no rejection of an SAR, so never mind. So I'd have wanted to see some SAR rejection at 2006 from previous candle. But on this daily time frames, I need to back test a little bit to see if I
There's
mean I
no
would
SARS up there on a 4 hour.
no, well, there's no entry on the 4 hour. I'm not wrong. Nope, there's nothing. Even if you're extending it, unless you keep extending and extending. The reason I don't like extending too much is like I'm forcing a trade. So I'd rather if I
Only
find
do it when I see it's rejecting perfectly from it. Like there's one to the left that it's rejecting perfectly from right now.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, if you have one here, then this cell and this cell would be valid at 2000. But for me, I very much prefer to trade the current SARS. I don't extend too much. Yes, 30 W 42.
I'm waiting. I would have wanted to see a bigger reaction from it.
Yeah, yeah. It's just like it's gonna come either nine whatever 9:15. I've seen this a bunch of times, so and you can tell like if you go to the 5 minute, you'll be able to tell when it's getting there. So this right here, I think, is a dead cat bounce. So they're pushing, trapping sellers here, and then they push for the actual reversal. And if I'm trading NFP, I would rather use a daily momentum. So wait, so here I'm looking for sells for right now. All right, perfect. I want it to keep pumping up. Audrey, we should be good to start phase 2 during New York today. I just set up that account. We'll see. All right, so I needed to keep pumping. Same as gold. Gold should keep. So even for gold, I'll put on that momentum indicator for gold. But just keep in mind, there's no momentum entry on the daily time frame. So, well, personally for me, I don't have any momentum entry on the daily, but let's turn this on because I want to see the 5-minute reaction. So keep in mind, NFP almost every time, probably 9 out of 10 times that I've traded it, spikes up, goes in one direction before New York. Also, if the reversal doesn't happen and it's an actual reversal, like during New York Open, it should get back here. That's the idea. Probably 8 or 9 out of 10 times that I've traded NFP, and I've traded NFP like for 3 years back to back. So it might be one of those days that it might keep going, but probability wise,
if you turn on the sell zones, it's so bright. I've never seen it this bright red before on the gold. It's approaching it.
Yeah, but you see, you don't just want to trade based off of the zones, because this right here, so for you to use this zones right here, you ask yourself, is there any order block here? There's literally no order block here. So all of this are retail traders. So we don't have any valid momentum on the daily valid. So all of this are gold can probably go to 2020 just like that. So there's no order block here. Why I like US 30? US 30, if you're trading order blocks, we had a daily bearish order block here, down here. Where is that? There's a daily bearish, this daily bearish low. And if you guys remember yesterday when we were trading, I told you guys this daily bearish low didn't mean too much, because again, yes, it's a daily order block that rarely comes up. However, if it's a daily bearish low, ask yourself, where is the daily bearish high? So you look at where it is, 34,090. So which is why, even though when price gets to this zone, this is where the daily sell momentum is. But what do you expect them to do if they're, and look at that push up, if they're supposed to bring it back down, this daily bearish high? And if I turn on the zones indicator here, this is on the 5-minute, so I'd have to go to the 15-minute, because sometimes the algo does not work on lower time frames. There it is. So you see this sellers right here between 34,153 to 34,100. That is smart money sellers. So all of this sellers right here on gold, I am almost sure they're about to be squeezed out. Gold is probably going to spike up any moment now to 2020. But US 30, now this is what I like, daily bearish high. So keep in mind that zone, that alert has just triggered. So this is where the last daily sell momentum kicked in. But if the last daily sell momentum kicked in right here, sure, if I were to get a 5-minute sell signal, sell momentum, that would be a nice one. But keep in mind right now, I've turned on the moving average filter. So we need a sell to be below the moving average filter. So right now, as much as I would like to take, if that sell does, I'm hoping it doesn't populate or it doesn't show, because the reason for that is, if I were to enter here, yes, I do have that daily sell momentum where sellers stepped in, but we have this daily bearish high here. So what I would expect to happen, I do expect some right now. If I was trading how I used to trade way back as a scalper, I would be in a US 30 sell for like, because here you can catch like 10 or 20 pips. But here what can happen is this. They come, they mitigate this, and then the reversal happens. So remember, we're expecting a reversal anytime between 9 a.m. to 9:15 a.m. That's what I've observed over the last 3 years. 9 to 9:15 for NFP. If it was CPI, for right now, if this was CPI, I would literally be in a buy, because CPI most of the times does not reverse what the direction it chooses. But here, I would love to take this sell if it closes. What time is it? 8:51. This is a better sell at 34,091. So at this point, as much as this, so you see exactly where we put the trigger, right? We put that alert at 34,022. That's where the last daily sell kicked in. So yes, this would be the sell that I'm waiting for reversal. But with this daily bearish high, always ask yourself, which is the most optimal entry? So I don't want to be in a trade just for the sake of being in a trade. And especially if I'm taking a live trade with you guys, I don't want you guys to either be risking or something. But the idea here is that I'll always give you guys the best entries, or personally, I'll always take the most optimal entries. So as much as what I would have loved for that alert that just triggered, because this is that sell zone. So if we go to the 4-hour time frame on the momentum indicator and put this for US30, you'll see that point where US30 is reversing. So where was that? Was it on the 4? No, it was the daily, actually. It was the daily. This, we apply the... Wait. Was it the daily or was it the 4-hour? Give me 1 second. I think it was the 4-hour. Yep, if we apply the moving average filter here, because this is the 4-hour time frame, that should take off. Yep, takes off the invalid trades. This sell right here, which was the valid sell, because if we extend this SAR right here, you'll see that the requirements have been met. The previous 1 to 3 candles had rejected off of an SAR, and this was the valid sell. So this right here is the sell that they're using to bring price down. But knowing that we have a daily bearish high, I don't think this is going to hold. So if we zoom in, you can see exactly that's where they rejected from, and that's where my alert went off. But knowing we have a daily bearish high up here, so right now, if I was going to take, so this is in 1.5 minutes. So the distance, so right now you can calculate if you want to start scaling in, but keep in mind, I'm still bullish on US30. The daily bias is bullish. The reason I'm looking for a sell for US30 now is to ride price down back to the NFP, pre-NFP levels. And then during New York session, I will be looking to buy. So you see all these buy alerts I've put here. Daily buy momentum at 33,614. There's another daily buy momentum, daily bullish low at 32,913. So I already have my alerts set up for my buys that I'm looking to take. But right now, I'm looking for a sell based off of NFP's historical price movements. So right here, yes, that's what I would have wanted, but at this point, I'll wait for the sell here. And what I'll do, I'll then create an alert for US30 at 33,090. 33,090. I go ahead and create an alert here. Then I put in daily bearish high. So I put it right there. So you see what I was telling you guys about a dead cat bounce? So if this was CPI, this is what a dead cat bounce is. If this was CPI, I would have bought US30 here because I know CPI picks a direction and goes with it. So this is, right, this is that dead cat bounce. Excuse. All right, right, push, trap to trap in the sellers get wiped out and keeps pushing and pushing and pushing. If this was CPI, I would have already been in a US30 buy down there. But since this is NFP, we are waiting for that retracement. So if you can handle so for me, I do a 50 pip stop on US30. Now, if this daily bearish high was within this, my stop loss, that's the trade I would be in right now. But because I don't want to extend my stop loss, I normally have static stop losses on US30, gold, EU, everything I trade. So I would have wanted, so that's the sell that I was waiting for. It rejected off of the sell momentum on the daily. But I asked myself, so for example, at this point, you ask yourself, if you entered this trade and you hit stop loss, is there anything better you could have done to avoid? And that's how I trade nowadays. So for me, I know if I were to enter in this trade, as much as it's probably the reversal I was waiting for, if this trade hits stop loss, I ask myself, is there anything I would have done to avoid the loss? Was there a red flag? So for me, I know yes, there's a red flag. The red flag was the daily bearish high. So in my mind, at this point, I just decide I'll just sit on my hands and wait for price to get down up here, and then I'll sell from here. But I also know that price can reverse from here and not come here at all, maybe until next week or something. Because keep in mind, we still expect US30 to be bullish. So at this point, price can easily reverse from here, go back to pre-NFP, and during New York, come all the way up here. So I'm comfortable knowing that I can miss out on this trade. But the idea here is that you don't want to enter a trade just for the sake, to see you in blues or reds or whatever. So for me, I'm comfortable staying out of US30 for now, because I know if I were to take, as much as this is what I was waiting for, the red flag is that we have a daily bearish high. And if Steven always talks about price moves from one pocket of liquidity to another. So this is, again, daily bearish order block. We rarely find this order block. So I really don't want to be trading. I'd rather trade with it as opposed to against it. And if we turn on the zones indicator, you'll see we do have those sellers that are pointed to you guys here, right? So those sellers. So I'd rather be selling with these guys right here, because this is smart money. Yes, we have sellers where price currently is rejecting from, but these are retail traders. So I don't want to trade in the same direction with retail traders. For gold, all right. Yeah, for gold, the sell came in. Unfortunately, I wish I had sell zones or like a daily momentum sell right here, but that would be the sell that I would have taken for gold. But I would have wanted, you see the same thing, we had rejection for US30 here. I would have wanted a rejection on gold right here. The reason I didn't take gold is because, why didn't I take gold? I didn't have any daily or 4 hour or 1 hour selling area right here. I know there's one at 2006, but it's an invalid sell. But this is what I would want US30 to do when it gets to this daily bearish high. I think EU had some zones as well, but I think they were mostly buy zones, because there's some zones I sent in the Discord in the trade ideas. So EU had buy zones. I didn't have any sell zones for EU. This was gold. Yeah, gold, same thing. Buy zones 1963, 1979. And US30 buy zones as well, right? 33,600 and daily bullish low there, and 33,622. So if this, again, you don't have to take every trade that just because I'm out of the market or I'm not taking a trade does not mean you should be too, because there are other people who have other confluences. But if this plays out, what would we expect? So assuming, like for me, right now, probably gold is not going to come back up because I don't even have any sell areas for gold. But let's assume US30 doesn't come back up for me here at the daily bearish high, and we're already at the 9 a.m. time, right? So I told you guys reversal for NFP, those reversal entries come 9 a.m. or 9:15. So I'm fine missing out on this right back down. I know that I was avoiding a red flag, and I don't want to win a trade because by ignoring any of my rules. So if this happens, so right now I'm thinking, okay, if this is the reversal that I was expecting and it comes back here, now I need to start preparing to buy US30. So now I start looking at my buy zones for US30. So what do? I start marking up my double SARs on the 30-minute, on the and on the 15-minute time frame. So here on the 30-minute time frame, let's go ahead and mark. So I'll turn off the markups indicator. So right now it's just prepping for market open. So here 864, 854, this is a double SAR on the 30-minute time frame. 30-minute time frame. This is 854, 837. So that's within the 20 pip range. This is another double SAR on the 30-minute time frame. So this zone that's pre-NFP has a bunch of buy, because even you guys will see it when we go to the 15-minute time frame. This zone between 33,860 and 33,840, it will take a bunch of selling pressure to break it. We just have too many zones there. On the 30-minute time frame, this would be a double SAR right here, 993 to 979. Yes, and then there's another double SAR right here. On the 30-minute time frame, there's this one. So for just for today, I don't think price will get all the way down here. So I won't go ahead and mark up any other zones. So, but if we go down to the 15-minute time frame, look at how many double SARs we have. We have 1, we have 2, we have 3, we have 4, 5. So this bottom one at 33.6. So for me, US30 is still the best area to sell. To buy 33.622, because that's where we also have the daily. So you can see I have an alert set. The daily buy momentum kicked in. So at this point, we've already marked up our 30-minute double SAR zones, our 15-minute double SAR zones for US30. So I'll come back down to the 5-minute time frame, and I'll wait to see if before market open, US30 will come back up and tap me in. Gold, I think I've already marked up the SAR levels. So this right here for gold, this is a possible break and continuation entry for gold on the 30-minute time frame. But of course, the reason you wouldn't want to take this, so for example, if this current 30-minute candle validates, red flags for this trade right here are, this is gold, expectation, right? So NFP expectation, we expect gold to go back to pre-NFP levels. Okay, that's one red flag. Second red flag, trading. So I don't take any trades before. Almost all my trades are before New York Open. I'm sorry, after New York Open. I prefer not to trade before New York Open. So again, that's another red flag for that trade. And also this candle or this trade would either validate or invalidate at 9:30 a.m. Because remember, you would want for this 30-minute candle to close. So yeah, so that's the red flag for that. So that was the possible break and continuation. But you can see, look at that reversal, right? So I wish we had, if only we had that rejection for gold, the trade would already be at a 1:1, I'm guessing.
I took that trade only because I know you said that's probably retail traders, but it's before 9:30. So
yep,
I figured they would have some kind of a push.
Yeah, so this one would have already hit.
I just didn't use my regular risk. I used like 0.2% or something like that.
Yeah. I would have done the same too. Like, I don't like over risking during NFP, but I wish this, that rejection we got on US30, I wish it's the same rejection we got on gold, because we would have already made full TP on this one. But yeah. But so I still expect more downside for gold. So unfortunately, I know we had that sell, even if we were trying to use that sell zone on gold on the daily time frame at 2006 using the momentum strategy, we still wouldn't have had a rejection because it was what on the daily time frame, and the daily time frame we do not use the momentum filter or the moving average filter. So that 206 right here, this one right here. Yeah, so price wouldn't have gotten anywhere there. But anyway, yeah, so that would have gotten us like full TP. But again, right, I don't want to take, but Livy took the trade, so you can still use other confluences. But for me, I'll be trying to wait for the most optimal level. So given that it's 9:05, so at this
entry, I almost intended to scale back in, but I'm not going to.
Oh, for gold. And you can see that the level it's rejecting from. If we go down to the 30-minute, so it looks like this trade will validate that 30-minute trade that I was showing you guys. Looks like it will validate, but it will either validate or invalidate at market open. And even though it validates based off of where it is, this is just too crazy, right? Because of course, if it validates where we are, we of course wouldn't take that trade because price is overextended. And our stop loss wouldn't be able to be below the SAR level we are trading. So we would do exactly what we've been doing this whole time, right? We wait for entry on the 1 minute time frame. I don't know if you guys yesterday caught any buys on gold after the live session, because if you guys remember, yesterday I know we took 2 losses. It wasn't too much. It was just like 1% loss overall, because we had a loss on US30 and first loss on gold, then the second loss on
I
US30.
caught both those trades, the loss and the buy, but I didn't risk as much on the buy and gold, so I wound up finishing plus $15 for the day.
Oh, you caught the buy after, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's the same idea. So if you guys remember yesterday when I was telling you, yesterday, some days that I'm pretty sure a lot of people either blew their accounts. Even for me, days like yesterday, I would have been blowing accounts. But if you remember yesterday, we had like a bunch of setups, right? We had a bunch of double SAR zones on the 15-minute, 30-minute, 1 hour, and those zones were being validated and invalidated one after the other. And you had like some setups being validated, some setups validating both 15-minute, 30-minute, and 1 hour. So that is also showing you like a bunch of red flags, because they're validating a 15-minute and invalidating a 30-minute. So you just have a bunch and a bunch. But if you waited, like Desire sent that in the group today, right? This is that gold trade we were waiting for yesterday played off, right? So that's the idea. You don't want to be rushing or trying to get into a trade if there's just too many red flags. So you can see Desire said that the trade we were waiting for. So finally, towards the tail end of the day, that trade actually validated. So it's the same idea here. As much as, like, if I was in this US30 trade, as much as it rejected off of a sell area that I was waiting for, yes, it would have given me like what, 50, maybe $100, $200 in profit, and now I would be in break even, and we are approaching the market open. So keep in mind. So this is why I prefer to wait. I mark up my zones. I do not care whether price would have hit full TP or whatever. The best I can do, like you can see here for gold, the best I can do now is in future, analyze what happened to gold. So yes, I didn't have any daily momentum rejection or 4-hour or 1 hour rejection. So the best I can do for next NFP is to analyze and see how else I can enter gold. But during this NFP, you guys can see that the rejection doesn't look like it's going to play out before New York Open. So this reversal might happen post NY Open. So during NY Open, they might try to squeeze the sellers out of the positions before dumping US30. And if the dump is going to come, I think, Audrey, let me know if I'm wrong. I think it's 1 p.m. or 2 p.m. That's when Audrey and I be watching these things drop on Friday. But yeah, I think 1 p.m. or 2 p.m. So if this drop doesn't come before New York Open, during New York Open, we would expect price to shoot up a little bit, just a little bit further for them to get the squeeze in. And then the drop would come in later, and then maybe 12 to 1 p.m. to 2. If it does get to those buy zones before or after New York Open, so it's either they would bring US30 back up on Sunday or Monday, or at 3 p.m., 2:30 p.m., 3 p.m. today. But right now, no trades. I'm at 0 for the day. Haven't taken any trade. So right now for gold, this 30-minute setup, what I would like gold to do is to pump up. I want this trade to be validated. This break and continuation, I want this break and continuation to be validated. So right now, I want gold to pump up heavy. The reason for that is break and continuation buy. The reason for that is I want this zone to be validated, 1996 zone to be validated, but I want it to be overextended such that it's a red flag to enter the trade upon this 30-minute candle closure. And then what I will then do is wait for price to come back to this same zone on the 1 minute time frame, and I will be buying gold there. So also, I think we have some 15-minute zones on gold. So same thing here. This is another break. Okay, so perfect example here. So let me use the same markups for gold right here. So this right here, this is a double SAR zone on the 15-minute time frame. So this is your break candle, and this is your continuation candle. So the entry, of course, would be there. But of course, we also know that you wouldn't enter this trade, because for you to enter a trade based off of the SAR strategy, your stop loss needs to be below the SAR zones you're trading. But for me, who uses a 30 pip stop loss on gold, I would not enter. I would not have entered that trade, because there's no way with a 30 pip stop, my stop loss would have been able to be there. So right now, this is a perfect example of how during market open, personally, this might be a nice buy zone on gold, 1994. But also, if you guys remember, this break and continuation, how many SAR zones has it validated? So there's this double SAR right here. And if you guys zoom in real quick right here, we have a triple SAR zone. So this break and continuation, so it's not a possible break and continuation, it's an outright break and continuation, because the candles have closed, 2 consecutive candles have closed above this SAR zone, and 2 consecutive candles have closed above this SAR zone. So here, and this is the pre-NFP time. Yep, this is pre-NFP time. So if you ask yourself, which is the most optimal zone to buy gold? Is it this one here that's valid? Yes, it's a valid zone. Is it this one, or is it this one right here? So the answer is it's this one right here. A, because it's the lowest. Let me see if the one below it is also a break and continuation. Actually, yep, we have also another break and continuation down here. So we have 3 zones right there. So of 1, 2, 3 zones, which is the optimal zone to buy gold? It is this zone at 1988. The reason for that is, A, this is where it would be pre-NFP price if we're expecting price to come all the way back down. Also, of the 3 zones, 1, 2, 3, the best one, or the one that would give you more probabilities, is this one at the bottom here. So for me, at this time, as much as these entries are validated, I would be looking to buy gold around 1988, 30 pips stop loss, 60 pips TP. So right now, sure, gold can keep coming back down. All that would do would be validate my NFP. You know, I'd go back to my journal and again update that NFP on November 3rd, pushed up and reversed before New York. And then, so that's what I was saying. Either catch the reversal. So there's 2 kinds of reversals during NFP. There's the reversal after the NFP move. So this, for example, there's that example of a trade I gave up here. So this would be the sell you'd have taken for the reversal. For me, I didn't take it because I was looking for a daily momentum rejection here, which we didn't have. US 30, same thing. So for US 30, I look at on the 30-minute time frame, the best zones to buy US 30 is here. So at this point, I go ahead and would want US 30 to come back down. Hopefully goes up and taps in the daily bearish high before reversing. But if it wants to come back down from here, again, I'm not in any trade. I'm not looking to take any trade before New York Open. So I really don't care what US 30 decides to do. So I've already set up my buy and sell zones for US 30. So on the 30-minute time frame, of course, this is the most optimal level to buy US 30, 33,866. So in this zone, we can get so we have a possible break and continuation that's going to validate. But of course, you wouldn't enter up here. You'd wait for retracement and wait for price to come to this zone, and then look for an entry on the 1-minute time frame. For the 15-minute entries, these are double SARs right here on the 15-minute, or maybe those what? Yeah, those are 15-minute entries. So here on the 15-minute entry, same thing. We have a break and so these are 2 separate zones, one at the bottom, one at the top. So this is a break and continuation of this zone right here. So at this point, I need to mark up. So in order to not wait for a retracement, I need to mark up this. If there's somebody who, because I normally consider if there's somebody who took the trade upon validation, at what point would they achieve a 1:1 risk to reward, so that I stop waiting for a reversal. So here, if price gets to 34,042, I'll delete this entry right here. I'll stop waiting for any reversal. I'm sorry, not reversal. I'll stop waiting for any retracement. because this was break and continuation. This zone up here, which is also a double by SAR zone, there's no break and continuation entry of it. There's no test and rejection entry of it. So if I delete that one from the top, this is the break and continuation I'm talking about. Candle breaks and closes above. The next candle continues. So that would be the trade. That would be a valid 15-minute break and continuation of an SAR. But I asked myself, what is a red flag of this trade? Overextension. It's against what I'm waiting for NFP trading. Now, if it wasn't NFP, I would have taken, or I would have looked to take this trade. But NFP, to me, the NFP journaling I've been doing for the last 3 years overrides everything. So overrides the SAR strategy, overrides the momentum strategy. So in any case, I would want them to work in tandem with each other, which is why I want the order blocks entry to work in tandem with my expectation for the NFP move. But to protect myself from FOMO and for waiting for any possible retracement, I need to know the person who's in this trade. Because for all of my strategies, 1:2 risk to reward. When you achieve a 1:1 risk to reward, you go ahead and set break even. So to protect myself from FOMOing into this trade, because there are people who see US30 going up and then you try to buy the high and US30 reverses. And worst case for people who don't use stop loss, which is, I try to tell you guys, for every trade, always have a TP and stop loss, but I know there are people who don't use stop losses. So for people who FOMO into such a trade, trying to chase the move, sometimes you'll get caught and then US30 retraces. But for me, I know how do I help myself avoid FOMO? Okay. In a trade that I saw as a red flag, I need to mark up where the person would be setting break even at, so that I know, okay, the trade has already gone to this person. Because the reason I'm doing that is that, remember, I always tell you guys, my hope or my expectation is for price to come back to me first, before giving this person a 1:1 risk to reward. So I would want price to come back to me first before giving this person a 1:1 risk to reward. But I don't win every time. I don't lose every time. So I know I'm not perfect. So if this person is given that 1:1 risk to reward, then I just simply go ahead and delete this trade setup. And then guess what? I have a sell set up on US30 at the top there. So I'm not really losing anything. I'm just waiting for price to show me the direction and to come into my buy or sell zones. So it looks like for today, the reversal, if it does happen, will be post New York. So yeah, so this trade to me is still my best or my A+ setup for the day, 34,089. But it doesn't mean that I will blindly sell US30 there. I'll go down to the, what was that? I'll go down. So this is a daily bearish high. So if you guys see that, that's a daily bearish high right there. So as much as we have sellers in this whole zone, another thing I can also draw to help myself within this zone, where are the sellers concentrated? So we have a sell zone from 34,160 to 34,000 to 34,000. But within those two zones, we have two groups of sellers where sellers are concentrated. We have that one right there, and then we have this one right there, right? Within that red, there's a darker red in there. So I'll change this to red to show me sellers right there. And I'll also change this to red to show me sellers right here. All right. Now, if I turn off the markups indicators and also the zones indicator, and we're looking at it this way. So yes, you can see there's some selling that has happened with US30 there. But if this was smart money, institutional traders, do you think this push, this buy momentum would still be there? No. When market maker or when institutional liquidity gets into the market, you don't have all this wicks, you don't have all this consolidation, you don't have all that back and forth. So these sellers that are here are retail sellers, which is why I did not want to sell US30 here as much as it tapped a daily momentum. So this daily bearish high, what's going to happen here? Again, if price gets here, I'm not selling blindly. Again, even though I was selling blindly, I would want my stop loss to be above this previous high where the sellers are concentrated, which I consider to be market makers and institutional orders that are there. So here, if US30 gets here, I would want them to break this daily bearish high. So ideally mitigate it. I guess that's what mitigation means. I don't know. But to mitigate, so to break above, come in and grab the orders from the market makers or from institutional traders right here. And then they start slowly. So when price gets here, you know what will happen? You'll see like a huge spike candle. So this is the trade that I'm trying to catch. So I'm trying to catch a sell momentum entry either here or here. The best one would be here. Because keep in mind, if we are doing a sell momentum, we also want price to have rejected off of SAR levels. But since US30 hasn't been here in a while, even if we go to the 5-minute or 1-minute timeframes, I don't think we'll see any SAR zones in there. So we might want to wait for them to get printed. So at this point, it's just a matter of waiting, just patience, because if we took that US30 sell, we would be in drawdown right now. We would be almost 50% to stop loss. And there goes. You see that pump? So this is retail traders getting squeezed out. And gold came back. So gold played out pretty nicely. Gold would have hit full TP if we took the sell here, that reversal sell. But again, no need to FOMO. We have buy zones waiting here for gold. So no need to FOMO. At this point, you should just be journaling what's happening during this NFP so that next NFP, again, I haven't gone live for you guys during NFP or CPI in a while. So, but for me, if I'm trading NFP or CPI by myself, I just do the same thing I'm going over right now. I just run, wait for retracement, and then write price down. If it's CPI, more than likely gold would be pumping still right now. So you can see if we had taken this trade, almost got into being stopped out. So this is what I talk about patience. You just have to be patient. You know, markets are not going anywhere. So at this point, this person has already gotten a 1:1 risk to reward, right? So at this point, I delete this markup. Also, the trade, the retracement I was waiting for down here, where was it? Somewhere down here. I go ahead and delete this one as well, because at this point, the person who took that break and continuation on the 15-minute time frame, the market has already given him 1:1 risk to reward. And if such a person listens to my trading strategies and rules, he would be at break even. So at this point, there's no need for me to wait for a retracement just yet, because I know I have a sell zone up there. There's no need for me to wait for a retracement based off of that entry right there, because that person is already at break even. So I'd be waiting for a retracement that somebody else is already at break even and in profit for, which means that if price comes back down, it's not the end of the world for me, because what I'll just do, I'll just go back to that 15-minute time frame that setup was based off of, because that break and continuation was here. So that's the break and continuation that would have been there, that this person should already be at break even for, right? So it's not the end of the world. It just means that even though price comes back down to me, I'm not entering it on the 1-minute time frame. So if price comes back down to this zone, instead of entering on the 1-minute time frame, it's like I'm starting afresh. I would then wait either for a break and continuation entry or test and rejection entry. So it would be, I'm just starting off from, in square one in looking for trades. And I'm not trying to enter that trade based off of this one up there. So ideally, I would be looking for a new trade in short. Also, I have to step away in like 5 minutes, but I'll just pause or mute and whatever, and I'll be back during market open. But keep an eye out on this daily bearish high. So what do I want to see here on this daily bearish high? What I want to see in this daily bearish high, I want this daily bearish high to be mitigated. So I want price to spike up and close, not close. So I want price, this is a 50-minute candle. So I want price to close above here. So I don't want to sell just yet. You can sell at 33,091, but just make sure it's a filler lot. So a lot size that you can survive 100 pip drawdown in. So by here, we just have to be we just have again to be patient. So here, what you'd expect, yes, when price gets to this zone, you'll see a spike, a quick spike down. So you can catch maybe 10 or 20 pips if you want. But if you're trying to hold for longer, you want price to tap this sell orders that are right here that we've already marked up, and then price to, they're just going to be slick with it, little by little. And you know what's going to happen when price is coming back down here, because hopefully I'll be back on the stream by then. What's going to happen is that sell SARs, because at that point we'll go down to the 1 minute time frame. Sell SARs will start being formed on the 1 minute time frame. So what I'll do as I go offline for the next few minutes, I'll leave that markup there. I can still do markups for you guys on the chart, but I wouldn't be able to talk because I need to get into a meeting. So let's do that real quick. So I'll go down to the 1 minute time frame. Since right now I'm still bullish on US30, so keep that in mind. I'm just trying to ride this daily bearish momentum. So I'll turn on the sell SARs, and then we'll go down to the 1 minute time frame. We've already marked up this zone, so they should follow us there. So what we want when price gets here, it goes above, and then on its own, on its way down, it starts creating sell SAR. So you see these red lines. We need this market to create these red lines in this zone as price starts to come back down. There goes gold, right? So now again, keep in mind, so gold back to pre-NFP levels. I don't know, Livy, I don't know if you closed your gold trade, but that would have been such a nice write down.
Yeah,
So
I wound up getting 1% on that trade, and I
perfect.
only risked 0.25. So
Oh shit! So you did a 1:4. There you go. That's how you do, man. Good shit.
yep.
Good shit. Yeah. So same thing. Just journal what happened today. So same. I tell you guys, right? NFP, one way before New York. And sometimes you probably want to look at different instruments as well, because you can see EU didn't do that. US30 didn't do that, but gold did that. So sometimes you might catch one or fail to catch the other. But right now on gold, so now is the perfect time, right? So what is gold doing? What time is it? 9:28. So none of these trades will validate before I'm back on the stream, but you can see we have this buy SAR zones here. So now is the time to now catch buys, but you need, for you guys to know, like, right, break and continuation, test and rejection, entries. Yeah, so I think we'll be trading. There's a 30-minute zone right there, but I don't think price will get there. So I think we'll be trading the 15-minute. I will be looking for a 15-minute entry on gold. But I'll pause the stream real quick. I'll be back in like maybe 5 or so minutes. But I'll just pause you guys real quick. But just observe US30. I'll leave this chart on for US30. And I'll be right back. What's up? What's up? Let's see. So gold, perfect, right? What happens before NFP? No, after NFP, reversal back down to NFP levels or pre-NFP levels, and look at what they do. Pump up. So that strategy is good for people who impulse trade. I do not impulse trade. I cannot believe I'm sorry. Yeah. No, I'm sorry. I was reading something else. I don't impulse trade, but you can see that analysis pumping up NFP before New York Open. What happens? Reversal back down to pre-NFP levels, and then going back in the direction of NFP. I sent you guys a screenshot of that, what I'd journaled way back. So, and exactly that happened today. Unfortunately, hasn't happened for US 30 just yet. But at this point, I don't think US 30 will come back up there. So what I'll do now, see what I want to do. So there's nothing on EU. Let's see for gold. I want to mark up the zones. That's what I was marking up when I was offline. Um, Give me one moment. I'm sorry, I'm multitasking, but there's no setup that's coming up on gold or US 30. All right, so let's go back to the 15-minute time frame. Okay, so I'll delete the sell zones. Well, I can leave them on. So this might be the road down to pre-NFP levels for US 30. Let me go ahead and extend the SARs again. And just mark up the zones. Man, when you're trying to do things, that's when. I'm sorry. I'm derailed a little bit. Trying to reply to somebody else. All right, let me draw these zones again from scratch for US 30. So this is a double SAR zone right there. Double SAR zone right here. So I'm just marking up my buys. So keep in mind, so I guess this will go into the daily live stream. I won't start another one, but you can see daily buys for US 30 bullish still. Daily buys for gold has been bullish for 2 weeks now. Daily buys for EU heavily bullish. We are about to confirm the bullish bias again today because you can see this daily candle will probably close above this daily SAR that has just been formed. Also, I don't know why this is extended. Well, it looks to be extended. What the wait right there. Okay, that's better. Yeah, looks like EU's daily bullish bias will be confirmed at the end of day today with another daily candle closing above the daily buy SAR. The dollar looks like beginning next week, my daily bias for the dollar will be bearish because you can see this daily candle looks like it might be closing in the next 9 hours below this daily SAR. So that's why I'm marking up bullish or buy zones for US 30 because as much I was looking to catch the sell to ride price back down, but my bullish bias on US 30 still stands. So those are the buy zones. On the 15-minute time frame, on the 30-minute time frame, we have on the 30-minute time frame, we have this double SAR zones. Mm, 980, 960. This is another double SAR zone right here. All right. So based off of where price is, I think those are the only two zones. Unless US 30 wants to go up and pick up momentum in the daily. So I'll switch the momentum indicator back to buys only because right now, unless US 30 gets up there to that daily bearish high. So in any case, right now, I would be looking to buy US 30 to push to go to that daily bearish high. So here, if you can see, this is what, 15 minutes, if I'm not wrong, 15 minutes. Yeah, 15-minute double SAR. Shit. Maybe this is a 30-minute. See. Yeah, this is a 30-minute double SAR. So here, this is a possible test and rejection, but the test candle has not even validated. So we don't care about this zone at the top. For validation of this top zone, would need 2 30-minute candles. So this first one hasn't even closed. So I know to check on that zone at 10:30 a.m. I don't think I'll be on the live session for that long. This middle zone, let's see what this middle zone is. This middle zone is a, so definitely the bottom one is a 30-minute zone as well. So this middle zone is probably the one we'll get an entry on. This middle zone has to be a 15-minute zone. If I look back, yes, this middle zone is a 15-minute zone. So that's what we'll look, or I will look to trade. So currently that middle zone is this is a test rejection entry. So there's a current test and rejection of an SAR. So I'll mark this up. So this is this middle zone right here. And this is on the 15-minute time frame, test and rejection buy. So this is your test candle. This is your rejection candle, the one that's currently going. However, for this, what I would like this current 15-minute candle to come and close here because this is where I would want to buy US 30. But if in the next 11, so we have 11 minutes for that candle to close. If in the next 11 minutes, the candle closes overextended, I won't be taking that trade. So those are those two trade setups up there. So one is based off of daily bearish high. This other one is based off of a possible test and rejection. This top zone right here and this bottom zone right here, those are 30-minute entries, which we would have to wait for another 45 minutes for the trade to validate. So we know for this US30 trade to watch it in 11 minutes. So that's at 10 a.m. For gold, this is a, let's see what gold has done. So in the 15-minute time frame, this is a triple SAR zone. So this is a test and rejection entry. So that's your test candle. The candle that just closed is the rejection candle. So this, let me start with the write-up. This right here is a test and rejection. So it's no longer pending test and rejection buy. So I remove the word possible right there. So the trade, yes, it's valid and it validated right there. But of course, I wouldn't have taken this trade because it's overextended. I'm trading the SARs that are down here. So I would want gold to come back down. And when gold gets to this zone, then I would go to the 1 minute time frame and look for my buy setup right there. So that's one zone that gold, this is one zone that gold has given here. This is another zone that gold is giving. So in this second zone right here, this would be a possible break and continuation entry. But at this point, let's wait for this 15-minute candle to close. So what I would want in the next 10 minutes, I want gold to drop all the way back down to 1989.6. So that's what I want. And then I will be looking to enter on the 1 minute time frame. There's nothing on EU. So let's see which will happen first. So there's this US30 entry that will either be validated or invalidated in the next 10 minutes. And then be looking to take that trade. If you guys have any questions, feel free to ask. But in the meantime, I'll just keep multitasking. Multitasking now. Let's see. Yes, yesterday was a losing day for me. I was down 1.5%. I was down 3K yesterday, but that's my first losing day in a while. So Levy 500. That's good, man.
Great NFC warning, man. They're trying to send the market in the other direction.
Dude, I know, which is why, man, for NFP, dude, you remember the amount of accounts we've blown on Fridays and especially NFP. That's why nowadays I'm not even in a rush to trade NFP or this heavy news. But you can see they're trying to get to this zone right here, to that daily bearish high. I would just prefer for them to come back down and fill this trade first. But gold was the play, man. Gold was the play.
Yeah, there's a news at 10, maybe at 10 it's probably gonna pump up a little bit.
Yeah, gold was a nice play. You remember when we used to trade with Sean or whatever? Yo, I'm pretty sure we would be in that trade. That trade used to, you're in a trade, the adrenaline is pumping, man. I don't trade like that anymore. I'm like, ugh. But yeah, that NFP play it's good if you're like scalper or impulse trader, but you would need to have like a nice tight stop loss or use a stop loss at the very least, because there are times when it doesn't always play out. Like for example, US30 has refused to come back down, but this week's, at least we have this week's right here, but we also have wicks to the bottom, so it's both buyers. It's this retail sellers that are here, man. They're just trying to hold, but you should see, I'm expecting a nice spike up, but question is, what time will that happen? So this was a 30-minute. Yeah, this was a 30-minute. This was a 15-minute on US30. For gold, let's see. It's also a double SAR right here. I'm trying not to have too many zones on my chart. But right now, I'll just mark up those 4 zones and prices. Yeah. On the 30-minute, we have a double SAR that's right here. Okay, so in the next 4 minutes, this is also a setup for a gold buy. It's not the optimal setup I would take, but right, if you have any confluences for gold buy, this is a break and continuation, possible break and continuation buy. You can see this is a 15-minute double SAR zone. You have your break candle, you have your continuation candle, so 2 consecutive candles. So for me, this trade right here, what is this trade based off of? Test and rejection. So I need to mark up. So that will, if we enter that trade, automatically got and stopped out, right? This trade that I marked up right here, which is why I say if something is overextended, wait for retracement. But then in the meantime too, mark up where the person would achieve a 1:1 risk to reward. So you can see for the person who took this trade, they would have automatically gotten stopped out, not even given a 1:1 risk to reward. So I delete my 1:1 risk to reward markup. So I'm still waiting for this. This is the most optimal entry on gold. This is a break. And so this break and continuation, this possible break and continuation, if it closes where it is, it will validate 2 SAR zones. It will validate this one that's right here on the 15-minute, and it will validate this one that's right here, because those same candles, those 2 candles, break candle, it broke this SAR that's down here and broke this SAR zone that's down here. The continuation candle would have also closed above this buy SAR zone and this buy SAR zone. So if this closes in the next 3 minutes above this, it will have validated 2 SAR zones. But you ask yourself, which is the most optimal zone? Is it this one? Is it this one? Is it this one? So to me, just as we had to wait yesterday for like hours and hours, this bottom, eventually price came to the most optimal zone. So that's the same thing I would, if you're willing to take the risk and take the trade on these top zones, yeah, you can still make money, but the probability, it's always, the probability. What's the probability of you getting stopped out before you are even able to make a 1:1 risk to reward? So same thing with this US30 trade. If US30 closes here, anywhere above this zone, that is a valid entry. But what is the red flag? Overextension. You don't want your entry relative to the SARs you're trading to be like 50% of your stop loss, 60%, because what will happen is that the probability is that you will probably get faked out. Can you still go into full TP? Yes. Even while ignoring overextension, yes, I've seen it happen. But more times than not, I've seen entries that validate during overextension, I've seen them being stopped out, and people who wait for retracement, people like me, gaining that entry or gaining that proper setup. So if this trade closes, I would be curious where the person who doesn't care about overextension would be achieving a 1:1 risk to reward, so that I go ahead and delete or forget waiting for a retracement. So this just helps you avoid FOMO right there. And I will be ending the live session at like 10 or 10:15. I have to go to work on something else. Audrey, I don't know if you got the phase 2 account, but I just sent it to you.
Yeah, I got it, and I'll send you the one you told me to do.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll close it out now, because what time is it? 15. Yeah. All right, 18 seconds. So in 18 seconds, this or in 11 seconds, this 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. So if anybody has a other confluence for gold, that's a buy for gold. Personally, no, this is my best entry right here. So honestly, for me, all I do, and you right would have jumped heavy. So this shifts from a possible break and continuation to a break and continuation. The entry would have been here, because it validated on this zone. So right now, I'm just curious, right? The person who's in this trade, they would have already achieved a 1:1 risk to reward right there. They've already achieved. So for anybody who's in this trade, anybody in here who took it, go ahead and set break even. I'm not in this trade. I said my best entry. I'll wait however long it takes. I'll wait for gold to come down there. But at this point, I already know that this person has been given a 1:1 risk to reward based off of these two setups. So there's no need for me. So remember, this setup at the bottom has not been invalidated whatsoever, because the person who would have taken it got stopped out. So this, for this trade that I'm waiting on, it was validated like one candle ago. But this trade, and if you're at break even, you look at that, you just get stopped out at break even. So that is the reason why I don't take overextended trades, because I just don't want to be in the trade just for the sake of it and get taken out at break even. So, but at this point, there's no need to wait for retracement, because these setups validated this zone right here, this zone right here, and this zone right here. So at this point, there's no need for the person, so for somebody to wait for a retracement for an entry on this zone and on this zone. The reason for that is because the person who took the trade upon validation already achieved a 1:1 risk to reward and has been taken out at break even. So you'd be waiting to enter a trade that somebody else is already out at break even. So that is the reason why I draw that blue line, to show me the people who don't care about overextension, where would they be taken out at break even if they were using my strategy. And you can see where is price coming to. I still have one entry, but now you can still trade these zones. So at this point, you go ahead and delete this. You can still trade these zones, but you would have to start again from scratch. You would have to wait for a new break and continuation entry. You would have to wait for a new test and rejection entry. That's what deleting or stopping to wait for a reversal means. It doesn't mean that you can't trade those zones anymore. You can, but you just have to wait for a new setup. And here, if you guys are seeing, what do you guys see right here for the same zone? Test, rejection. So this is a possible test. And so the other one was a break and continuation, right? Yeah, the other one was a break and continuation. This one is a possible test and rejection. And then now you go through the motions again. All you're doing is starting from scratch. There's no hurry. test candle, rejection candle. So what would you want? Where would you want this candle to close at? You would want this candle to close next to your SAR zone. If this rejection candle closes below this SAR zone, then your test and rejection setup has been invalidated, because remember, entry is always based off of 2 consecutive candle closures. So we need these 2 candles to close above that zone. So you go ahead and just do your markup and just wait for either the trade to be validated or not. It's as simple as that. So all of these rules will help you avoid FOMO, will help you avoid being taken out at break even, will help you avoid, not always, but for most of the times, it will help you avoid some of those instances. US 30, okay. Same thing with US 30. So US 30 just validated the break and continuation entry. I'm sorry, test and rejection entry. So I removed the word possible from this and just leave test and rejection. Now, this entry validated, the entry would be here, but am I going to take the trade? No. I'm not saying you can take the trade, but the reason I'm not taking the trade is that overextension. If I'm trading these zones, my entry relative to the SAR zones I'm trading is like 80% of my stop loss. Am I willing to take that risk? No. So for me, I just wait for price to come back down here, and then I wait for an entry on the 1 minute time frame. But to avoid FOMO, I need to mark up, because I do 1:2, so 50 pips stop loss, 100 pips TP. So I need to mark up my 50 pips so that I know the person who's currently in this trade, regardless of it being overextended, where would they be setting break even at? It's around this zone. So my idea here is that I want US 30 to come back to me first before giving this person a 1:1. Simple as that. That's why you do that markup. And I don't know if it did. Maybe it did. Uno momento. It actually did. So you can see it's the same spike that happened on gold. This person would be taken out at break even. So at this point, even for me who's waiting for a retracement down here, guess what? This person would have already gotten taken out at break even because the trade validated on this candle closure. Price spiked up in profit for them, gave them a 1:1 risk to reward at the very least. They would be at break even. And now there's no need for me to wait for this setup anymore. So again, I start from scratch. I start looking for new entries. But at this point, there's nothing really left for me to go over. I need to go offline and take care of something. But personally, I will be taking this trade, this gold buy, only if this 15-minute candle closes next to this SAR zone. So I like this gold buy right here. Eventually, again, this is a trade that's still valid right here. The one at the bottom, it's still valid because that person got taken out, or somebody would have gotten taken out at stop loss if they entered up here. But I like this gold buy at 19.95. Lastly, let's look at real quick. Let's look at what's going on here on the hourly time frame. We don't have any setups. I think this was the 4-hour. Yeah, on the hourly time frame, we don't have any setups for US 30 or EU. Audrey, remember when we took that EU buy at the bottom here and got faked out, and then EU pumped up, and that shit is still pumping up. Yeah, but nothing on the hourly time frame, nothing on the 4-hour time frame. And again, today is Friday. I don't prefer trading Fridays. I don't encourage trading Fridays, but for people who like trading every day of the week, there's nothing wrong with that. But just make sure you're using proper risk management. On the 4-hour time frame for US 30, you have a possible break and continuation setup right here on the 4-hour entry. So if you go to your SAR indicators or any of the indicators, you'll see here on the 4-hour time frame, we have a break and continuation. And keep in mind, for any of my strategies, the higher the time frame, especially if you get a setup on the daily 4-hour, 1 hour, those are amazing setups because price is not as volatile up there because those are huge candles. In the grand scheme of things, it doesn't move as much, and it's going to respect your stop loss for a good amount. So this is a break and continuation buy. So this trade would validate at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time today. But for this trade, I would want US 30 to actually come back down a little more and close next to 33,975. So if US30 closes above 33,975 at 1 p.m., that would be a break and continuation buy for US30. Based off of the SAR strategy, 50 pips stop loss, 100 pips TP. If that trade does validate, personally, since I don't trade on Fridays, I won't send it because I won't even be around the charts around 1. But just mark up that zone. Honestly, I prefer you guys to wait for Sunday or Monday. It's much better. If you missed any of those moves during NFP, just better to wait for Monday or Sunday. But yeah, in the next 6 minutes, if gold closes above here, I mean, I guess I can hang on for 6 minutes. If gold closes above there, I will be taking a buy on gold. So this little zone right here, what did we say? This was a 30-minute zone. So let's see what's going on the 30-minute time frame for US30. Okay. This zone right here is a 30-minute double SAR. And let me make sure I am right. Yes, that's one. And that's another one. Yeah. So this small zone up here is a 30-minute double SAR zone. So what setup is presenting for us here? This is a test and rejection setup because you had your test candle, try to close below, spike back up. Your next candle is your rejection candle. So for this trade to validate in the next 20 minutes, you need test and rejection buy. You need this current 30-minute candle to close above this zone. If it does, that would be a nice buy setup for US30. So go here. You're just lining it up and just getting ready. So we know there's a 30-minute setup on gold. I won't be on the live session long enough for the US30 setup, but we do have this gold trade. But keep in mind this target, you see how they're not letting it fall because it should be coming back down like gold to pre-NFP levels. The reason they're not letting it fall is this daily bearish high right here, right? Price moves from one pocket of liquidity to the next. So this daily bearish high price is being attracted as much as retail traders are trying to sell US30 here. The market makers or institutional traders have their sell orders right here. So which is why price is having a hard time coming back to pre-NFP levels as gold did. So the best thing with gold, it didn't have any order blocks around any of those zones. So that's why gold was able to go up and down. But in the next 4 minutes, if this trade closes, I will be buying gold with a, let me see, it's NFP day. It is Friday. What do I want to do? Yeah, I'll be doing 0.75% risk. So keep in mind, so yesterday we had a minus, okay, I need to update this. So we took a minus 0.75% loss. And then we took another 0.375% loss. So yesterday we were down minus 1.125. On Tuesday, we were up 0.5. So you can see just for this current month, only which is 2 days old, we're only down minus 0.625. The previous month, as much as we started with some losses. So at any given time, this is why for my trades, I try not to go over minus 1% loss for you guys. If you lose 2 consecutive trades, like for me yesterday, I lost 2 consecutive trades and I was down for the day. Personally, I do a static 0.75% loss, but if we've taken a 0.75% loss on the live session with you guys, and I see another trade setup, I'll ask you guys to do like a 0.375% risk so that if you lose that trade as well, you're only down 1.125%. But you can see for me yesterday, I was down 3K, but on previous days, I've been up for the previous days, up 3K, 4K the previous day, 1K, 3K. So 5K, just make sure that's why it's critical for you guys. When I'm setting break even, make sure you're setting break even. When I'm taking a loss, make sure you're taking a loss. When I'm taking TP, make sure you're taking TP as well. Otherwise, your win rate might not be similar to mine. As much as I don't send all the trades that I take on the live session, even when I'm taking trades personally without sending it as an official trade, either in the Discord or on the live session, I still do the same thing. 1:2 risk to reward. I follow each and every one of the rules that I go over with you guys. And then I set break even when I achieve 1:1. I take a loss when my stop loss hits, because the reason that's the reason your stop loss is there, right? That's the point where your trade setup will be invalidated. So if your stop loss on gold is 50 pips, never extend your stop loss. If your stop loss on gold is 100 pips, never extend your stop loss, because what you're doing, your trade setup has already been invalidated, but you're trying to hope that X instrument comes back to your direction, which, I would say hope is not really a trading strategy. So we have 1.5 minutes. So right now I'm prepping my trade manager. So 0.75% risk, 30 pips stop loss, and 60 pips TP. If this candle closes below this SAR zone, the trade setup will be invalidated because we only got a test candle. We didn't get a rejection candle. So for me to take this trade, I need this 15-minute candle to close above 19.95. And if it doesn't, that's fine as well. You can see there's still this optimal trade that I'm waiting for down here. We also still have like a triple SAR zone right here. So we can be getting like a test and rejection entry right here. Also, this momentum shouldn't actually be for sales. Momentum, since I'm bullish on gold, there should be buys. All right, US 30, this is a 30-minute trade. But that will come either validate or invalidate in 30 minutes. Man, I'm starving. Let's see. All right, so yeah, so that trade setup is invalidated. And again, that's why you have the rules, right? So test candle, yes. Did the rejection candle close above that zone? No. So delete that. Delete that. So you can still trade the zone, but right now, again, you'd have to start the motions again. You'd have to wait either at this point, since price is below that zone, possibly get a break and continuation entry. But as of right now, that trade setup has been invalidated. No trade for that. Gold is coming down. That's fine as well. Keep in mind, we do have that triple SAR zone right here. It can give us a test and rejection entry, can give us a break and continuation entry. It is what it is. There's this zone. So this zone is still valid, 1986, because this test and rejection was based off of this big, huge candle, test candle, rejection candle. And this is the point where somebody who entered upon validation would have gotten stopped out. And for us, we're just waiting for price to come down here, and we'll enter in on the 1 minute time frame. But I have to go now. So for you guys, watch for the 1 minute entry. If I do get it, I can send it out in the Discord. But watch for a 1 minute entry on the 1986 level. And also this US 30 trade. Let me know if you guys have any last questions. But today the NFP setup played out perfectly on gold. You had NFP moving one direction, reversing before New York open to come back to pre-NFP levels and going back up. US 30, that pattern didn't play out, and we've gone over the reason for that. EU is just being EU. There was I don't even think there are any zones around. Oh, wait, there's a weekly bullish high on EU. So EU might keep pumping. So you can see they broke that weekly bullish high. And that's another reason. So same idea with why US 30 isn't coming back down. Same thing with EU. The reason EU isn't coming back down, we have a weekly bullish high right there. So yeah, I don't think, as much as we have sellers here, this weekly OB overrides all of that. So that's another reason why EU probably isn't coming down anytime soon. But other than that, I will catch you guys next week. All right, see you guys.